Welcome to our Devos, where we are talking this week about so many different things. We talked about divorce, we talked about children, we talked about the death clock that Jesus operates, we talked about honor, and then finally we're going to have a story. This is a common Bible story. Pastor Mike did a sermon about this not too long ago, blind Bartimaeus, and this is the story. The story is about faith means seeing. Faith means seeing. Let's take a look at the story. In Mark chapter 10, verses 46 through 48, it says, when they came to Jericho, Jesus and the gang, as he was leaving Jericho with his disciples and a great crowd, Bartimaeus, a blind beggar, the son of Timaeus, was sitting by the roadside. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. And many rebuked him, saying to him, be silent. But he cried out all the more, saying, Son of David, have mercy on me. Now, as we see this story, there's something interesting we notice right off the bat. That when this man heard Jesus coming, he heard the crowd, he heard the footsteps, he was waiting. He had no issue at all with completely letting go of all pride. I mean, we're talking about he's standing there, he can't see, nobody's putting him near Jesus, and he just begins screaming out loud, top of his lungs, Son of David, have mercy on me, please have mercy on me, screaming, so much so that the people around him were pleading with him to stop. I think that some of you, you're not really connecting to Jesus because you're too prideful. I've been too prideful at times. I struggle with that too, to ask him for things. This guy is standing in the middle, and he's putting it all on the line at just the chance, just the hope that maybe Jesus is going to have an interaction with him. Jesus hears his voice, and he tells them to bring him, or has him come over here. And this is what happens in verse 50 through 52. And throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and came to Jesus. And Jesus said to him, what do you want me to do for you? And the blind man said to him, Rabbi, let me recover my sight. And Jesus said to him, go your way, your faith has made you well. And immediately he recovered his sight and followed him on the way. The coolest part of this story is there was no propriety to it whatsoever. The coolest part is he goes there, Jesus is like, what do you actually want? He goes, please just make me well. Please, you can make me well. And that faith is the key. I think some of your prayer life is lacking in authenticity. Some of your prayer life is lacking of you going, okay, God, I'm going to pray this certain way, and I'm going to use all the right language and the right words. And in reality, God just wants you to get to business. What is going on with you? He's your Father. You have to have faith, not faith that God can do things, but the willingness to come to him and actually believe that he wants to do the thing that you're not asking for. It's a big difference when we approach God thinking that he wants to hear from us and wants to work in our lives than when we approach him with kind of this half-hearted way of saying, I don't know if he even wants to bless me or fix this marriage or work on this problem I'm having with my children or my finances or some depression or whatever. Like, we're in a different place when we are willing to come to God and say, God, I need this right now. I am such a mess. And as you see in Mark chapter 10, Jesus says that the ones that come to him the best are like children. What would it look like for you to truly exercise childlike faith in your life? What would it look like for you to truly tap into that side of you where you are completely dependent on the voice and the sustenance of the Father, just like you were when you were an infant? What would your prayers be like? What would your requests look like? What would you really believe God could do, or what would you ask for him to do? Faith means the willingness to see yourself for who you are and God for who he is.